Today we are working on Psalm 57. And Psalm 57 in the tradition of psalm magic is very frequently used to help somebody overcome the distress and the depression involved with the ending of a relationship or a marriage. But we can use it for more than just that. For one thing, Psalm 57 is a very, very powerful psalm. Well, they all are, but this one has got quite a lot of wonderful power. And it's a good psalm to use any time you have any sort of existential despair, or there's a problem with endings, or you're worried about things ending. Now, the way that we work these psalms is really simple and very powerful. We take the psalm in question and we read it out loud all the way through once. And that's called the incantation. And then we go back through that same psalm and we go through it verse by verse. And when we go through it verse by verse, we're actually hunting for magic seeds that are in the psalm. They are seeds that are in that psalm. You could see them even as keys to unlock doors in your mind if that's easier for you. But I like the seeds because when you plant those seeds deeply in the fertile ground of your deep mind, they really do take root and they grow and they blossom forth and they bear fruit after their kind. And the way that we dig that soil, we till those fields, we plow those fields of our deep mind, is through the work of searching and thinking and contemplating and finding the inner occult meanings therein. And it's a very, very powerful process. And that's what we're going to do together right now with Psalm 57. Be merciful unto me, O God, be merciful unto me, for my soul trusteth in thee. Yea, in the shadow of thy wings will I make refuge until these calamities be overpast. I will cry unto God most high, unto God that performeth all things for me. He shall send from heaven and save me from the reproach of him that would swallow me up. Selah. God shall send forth his mercy and his truth. My soul is among lions, and I lie even among them that are set on fire, even the sons of men, whose teeth are spears and arrows, and their tongue a sharp sword. Be thou exalted, O God, above the heavens. Let thy glory be above all the earth. They have prepared a net for my steps. My soul is bowed down. They have digged a pit before me, into the midst whereof they are fallen themselves. Selah. My heart is fixed, O God, my heart is fixed. I will sing and give praise. Awake up my glory, awake psaltery and harp. I myself will awake early. I will praise thee, O Lord, among the people. I will sing unto thee among the nations. For thy mercy is great unto the heavens, and thy truth unto the clouds. Be thou exalted, O God, above the heavens. Let thy glory be above all the earth. Okay, now there's a little preamble here that's before you start the psalm, that it says to the chief musician, Al Tatzkit Michtam of David, when he fled from Saul in the cave. And a lot of these things were rewritten to conform to the theology within the Bible, even though we do believe that the Psalms themselves are probably much older than anything else in the Bible. But let's use this as a starting point. Michtam, it means a golden psalm. A golden psalm we can look at as a very precious thing. And it's precious because it's not golden in the gold of this earth. It's the gold of the Spirit. So this is a psalm that can transform everything. So you've got the base metals of your life can be transformed into gold by using this psalm properly. That's what the Michtam is. That's the golden psalm. Al Tatzkit means destroy not. Destroy not. So when he fled from Saul in the cave. So if you think of Saul and David, these are two kings. There's King Saul, and then there's the king to be, David. Now Saul was after King David. He wanted to kill him. And look at that as a retelling of the solar myth. You know, the two brothers of the sun, the pagan idea of the seasons going from winter to summer to winter to summer to winter to summer. It's these two kings that are battling. Just keep that in mind here. That's what's going on. So he's hiding. So David's hiding from from Saul in the cave here. So that's the setting of this psalm. Be merciful unto me, O God, be merciful unto me, for my soul trusteth in thee. So many of these psalms hit on that sphere number 4 on the tree of life, that sphere of Jupiter, meaning mercy. Be benign. Everything that's a problem in my life, I'm calling for mercy. And mercy doesn't just mean stop hurting me, God. Mercy in this sense means give me relief from the things that are hurting me in this world. So we're seeking for relief from the invisible world, for that which is causing us existential grief in this world. And we're calling to God to give us that. Now, who is God? God, we have to remind ourselves that we are working magically, not religiously. So we're not worshiping some deity. It's not some dude up in the sky. It's not a male or female figure. It's a pre-gender force that is the source of all things. It's the fountainhead of all life. It is infinite intelligence, knows everything, knows how to create galaxies and flowers and trees and babies out of embryos, right? That is the force that we're talking about. It's the force that is pure, infinite life, that which is beating your heart and everybody else's heart. So it is infinite truth. It is that which, the infinite truth that 2 + 2 is always 4, no matter what the lies of this world are. It is infinite law. It is infinite love. It is perfect love. It is indestructible. So if God is for us, no one can be against us. One with God is a majority because there's only one. There's one source. There's one force. There's one substance in all of the universe. And that is what we are calling the Lord or God in this psalm. Okay, so be very clear that it's not a patriarchal or matriarchal deity. It is not anything that is like that. It is not anthropomorphic in any way. It is the supreme power of which there is only one. So be merciful to me, be merciful unto me, O God, be merciful unto me, for my soul trusteth in thee. When your soul trusts in God, you're confessing the truth of who you really are. Your soul can't help but trust God. So it's not your soul that's the problem. It's the mind. It's the personality. It's what we choose to do with our minds that is the problem. So the soul already knows what to do. So if we let our soul take over, the soul already trusts in God. Yea, in the shadow of thy wings will I make my refuge. The shadow of the wings of the Almighty is where you make your refuge. The wings of the Almighty, think of it just like we do in other psalms, where it's like the wings of a mother hen or a mother bird protecting the chicks. So you are always protected under the mighty wings of the Almighty. Until these calamities be overpassed. So if something's happening in the temporal world that is causing you distress, be it the end of something, very often in this psalm is you're called upon because there's an end of something. There's something that's causing you some sort of a distress, some sort of perceived calamity. You don't have to even go through it because you can go under the wings of the Almighty until it's passed in this temporal world. I will cry unto God most high, unto God that performeth all things for me. So to cry unto God, that's the only thing that's worth crying for. You don't cry out to the world, oh, change this, world. You don't cry out to people, oh, do this for me. You cry out to God because there's only one power. So if you use your will to cry out to God, because that's what Saul represents. Saul represents the personal will, and whereas David represents the personal will connected with divine. And so what we're looking for here is we're going to cry out. That means our will is to be one with the divine will. So my will is that God's will be done. Now, God's will be done doesn't mean something outside of me is going to do something. It means the source of all life is willing that which is perfect for me, right? So I will cry unto God most high, unto God that performeth all things for me. So if God's not performing something for you, it means that you're not having something real. If you're not having something real, that means that you've willed yourself into an illusion. You've willed yourself into an experience that's not God's will, which means that it can't really be happening ultimately, but it sure can seem real. It can seem very real. And that's the nightmares of this world. Those are the nightmares of this world. So we are asking that God's will be done, that God performeth all things. He shall send from heaven and save me from the reproach of him that would swallow me up, Selah. Now, who is him that would swallow me up? It can look like all kinds of things in this world, can it? It can look like enemies. It can look like debts. It can look like the ends of relationships. It can look like diseases. It can look like all kinds of horrible things. But really, the only thing that can swallow us up is our own ego mind. What is our ego mind? Our ego mind is a decision that we've made to think separately from God. It's a decision that we've made at some point in our existence to prove to ourselves that God doesn't exist and that we are all alone and that we are not good enough and that we are separate and that we are vulnerable. That is the one thing that is going to try to swallow you up, but it can't succeed because God shall send forth his mercy and his truth. So God sends forth his mercy and his truth. It says he shall, but the truth is that God sends forth mercy and truth at the instant that you turn away from God, because that's what mercy and truth looks like. And that's what the all-powerful does. The all-powerful loves you no matter what. Therefore, when you do something that's going to cause you to harm yourself, the solution is immediately provided. But it's just the only reason why it seems like it's in the future is because it takes time for us to want to accept that remedy. My soul is among lions, and I lie even among them that are set on fire, even the sons of men. So being among lions and the sons of men that are set on fire, those are symbols of our own thought forms. So wherever we are attacking other people in our mind, we are really attacking ourselves, but we don't want to look at it that way. Those lions and those fires, those things that seem to threaten us in the world, we don't want it to look at the truth that those are reflections of our own attack. Our own attack. Anytime we look at the other people as being less than, anytime we look at other people as not being good enough, anytime we look at other people as being a threat to us, anytime we look to anybody as being anything other than divine children of the infinite, then we are attacking them. And then that's why we are so vulnerable to these lions. Right? So we have to recognize that. We have to recognize that we have a big part in that. Whose teeth are spears and arrows. The sons of men whose teeth are spears and arrows. It can seem like that, can it? It seems like, and that's the thing about the ego mind, is it's so good at what it does because it's our own genius that we've decided to use against ourselves. So it's our own genius we're used against ourselves. And so this world can seem real airtight. This world can seem very, very, very real. It's so convincing. It hurts real. The pain is real. The fear is real. The calamity is real. The tragedy is real. All of it's very, very real. Now imagine going to a horror movie and all you did was go, "Oh, that is so lame. That is so stupid." That's not a good horror film. Well, your ego is not a director that will ever let you feel that way. Your ego is a director that makes a film that makes you very, very afraid. It's when you go to that horror film and you can't stop believing that it's really happening. That's the kind of film your ego has directed for you. And so that's why those sharp swords, the spears and arrows and sharp swords are what what it appears is happening to you in this world, because we've peopled this world with people in situations that will do that to us, even though it doesn't seem like we have anything to do with it. Be thou exalted, O God, above the heavens. Let thy glory be above all the earth. So when you're looking at God as being above the heavens and above the earth, we're not looking at God as being separate from us. We're looking at God as being above it all, meaning that God exists in reality and we exist in a nightmare. But the truth is that we don't exist in a nightmare. We already exist with God. But what we need to do is allow ourselves to gently wake up to the truth. And that's what we're crying out to God to help us to do. They have prepared a net for my steps. My soul is bowed down. They have digged a pit for me into the midst whereof they are fallen themselves. So that's, for one thing, it's a reminder that all evil destroys itself. All evil destroys itself. That you have nothing to worry about. You don't have to destroy evil. Evil is, for one thing, it doesn't exist, so it just falls into the native nothingness from whence it came. But it's really important to recognize that we have prepared a net for our steps. We have digged a pit for us because we want to destroy ourselves. We have self-destructive tendencies. Now, it's not our soul that does that. It's the ego that does that. But the ego was created by us. And we can uncreate that ego, but not by ourselves, because we've completed that task so well. So this is why we need things like Psalms or any other kind of spiritual practice that can recognize that there is a higher power that is separate from the problem, but not separate from us, not separate from our soul. So it's outside of the thought system which creates the problem, but it's one with who we are. So it's very easy for that power to lift us up out of that, but it can't do it without our permission, right? So that's what we are doing when we're doing an operation like this, is we're giving permission to this higher power to lift us out of the problems gently. My heart is fixed, O God, my heart is fixed. I will sing and give praise. Now, having a fixed heart, a heart is another representation of the unconscious mind, of the deep mind. So if you think about that, if you think that your deep mind is fixed, if you think that your deep mind is completely consecrated to the Lord of these Psalms, or to your higher power, to infinite spirit, infinite intelligence, infinite love, it's fixed to that, it's tied to that, then if that's the truth, then the deep mind can only project things into your world that reflect that truth. So this is a secret that is being given to us here. This is one of those golden pieces of truth in this golden psalm that shows you how to transform everything, and that is to fix your deep mind so that your deep mind is preoccupied with God rather than preoccupied with your problems. How do you do that? Well, the deep mind takes its cue from the conscious mind. So what you're doing with your conscious mind day in and day out is what your deep mind will be fixed on. So it's up to us to constantly remind ourselves to come back to the thoughts of God. What are the thoughts of God? The thoughts of God are the qualities of God. So you think about those. We'll just go through a few of them really quickly here. Infinite life, infinite spirit, infinite soul. You are an extension of light. You are a soul. You are not disconnected. You are an extension of light, just like a sunbeam to the sun. Unique soul. Infinite intelligence, infinite truth, infinite love, perfect divine love. Divine law. God's laws can't be violated. So if God's laws seem to be being violated, it's because you're asleep. You're in a dream. Right. So just thinking about along those lines of those qualities of God are how you keep your soul, or you keep your deep mind, I should say, fixed on God. And that's what the term religion is supposed to mean. Religion just means to bind back to God. So it's just a way to bind your mind to God. So whatever you do religiously is what you do to bind your mind. So if you worry religiously, then your religion is going to bind your mind to worry. But if you think of the qualities of God religiously, then you're going to bind your mind to God, and you're going to get results based on that, because what you're what your heart is fixed on is what you're going to experience. I will sing and give praise, awake up my glory. So to sing and give praise, you can sing, and singing is really good for the soul, but it's not necessarily what we're talking about in the psalm. Singing and giving praise is another piece of gold. How to transform your world. Wherever there's a problem, there's a lack of praise. There's a lack of praise. So when you can look at, you don't run away from your problems, you don't run away from your fears, you don't run away from anything, you look at them straight in the face, and you look straight in the face of whatever it is, and you say, what can I praise? Where is the praise? Where is the praise? And you praise it. So if your car is giving you trouble, you start praising your car. If your relationship is giving you trouble, you start praising your relationship. There's always something good that you're not wanting to look at. So look at what's good, and you start praising that thing, and you start seeing how things change right in front of your very eyes. Awake up my glory, awake psaltery and harp. I will myself awake early. I will praise thee, O Lord, among the people. If you awake early to praise, that just means the first thing you do when you open your eyes in the morning is praise. Find something to praise. It's not necessarily praise the Lord, praise the Lord. You can do that if that's your proclivity, if you're into that. It's not what we're talking about necessarily, although you could use that. It means, what's good about this life? What's good about my life? What's good about this day? What's good about my room? What's good about my home? What's good about my car? What's good about my body? What's good about my mind? What's good about my finances? What's good about whatever? Where is the good? And you orient yourself to that first thing. That's praise. To praise something is to enthusiastically acknowledge that it's good. So that's what we're talking about, is enthusiastically acknowledging what is good in your life. I will sing unto thee among the nations. Now, the nations are the masses of thought forms within your mind, good, bad, or indifferent. All the nations in your mind are all the thought forms in your mind. And what you're going to do is you're going to sing unto God among the nations. So no matter what your thought forms are, you are choosing with your conscious mind to sing praise unto the Lord. That simply means praising that which is good. See, it's really that simple. And let's see. For thy mercy is great unto the heavens. Again, the mercy unto the heavens. That means that the transformation from the base metal to gold, right? Everything that could make you happy is mercy. Every possible thing that could make you happy is great, all the way up unto the heavens. That means there's no place that's missing. There is no spot where God is not in your life. So it's up to you. It's up to you to find that praise. You do your part and God will do God's. There's a saying, I think it's in the Hindu religion. They say, you take one step, God will take 10. I will sing unto thee among the nations, for thy mercy is great unto the heavens, and thy truth unto the clouds. So the divine truth is also sphere number 4. Be thou exalted, O God, above the heavens. So God's exalted above the heavens, and his mercies are great unto the heavens. So there is no spot where God is not, and there is no place wherein you don't have the opportunity to give praise. There is no such place or time, no matter what appears to be happening. Whatever it is, if it's not working, it's calling for praise. If it is working, then there's a lot to still praise about it. So no matter what, your response can be praise. Be thou exalted, O God, above the heavens. Let thy glory be above all the earth. Now, the glory of God is glory means the aura. So the aura of God is everywhere. Okay, it says that let the glory be above all the earth, meaning that it's above that which is manifest. It's before that which is manifest. It's the cause of that which is manifest. And if there's manifestation happening which is not glorious, it means that we have tried to to will a cause which is separate from God, which means that we are not really experiencing God's truth. And if we're not experiencing God's truth, then we're not experiencing existential truth. We're experiencing something in the realm of a hallucination, a nightmare, something that is miscreated. And that can be undone easily and effortlessly if we don't try to do it ourselves. All we have to do is remember what the psalm taught us here, and that is wherever there is praise, there is an undoing of the problem at hand. And so this is how we work these psalms, and you just keep coming back to the psalm again and again. And as soon as you get a sense of peace and certainty that things are working out for you, then you can stop working on that thing and go on and work magic on something else instead. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. Until next time, blessed be.